Welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for this video because this is going to be my Summerween reading vlog, or just like vlog in general. I'm primarily going to be reading in this vlog, but I'm also really trying to get back into all the cozy hobbies that I do. I haven't crocheted in probably like 6 months maybe, like ever since I started my new job last November. The semester got busy and then I just haven't done it. I've also been slowly making my way back into journaling. Again, I just didn't really have time or like the motivation to do it, but I've just been making some spreads here and there, and I'm loving it so much, and I just missed it a lot. So I'll definitely show you the ones that I do for Summerween in general. But quickly, I firstly just wanted to take you through my TBR for Summerween because my boyfriend and I are going to be doing like a lot of kind of spooky themed activities this entire week, and we're kicking it off on Friday the 13th, which is actually today, because obviously it's Friday the 13th, like it's the ultimate spooky day, so why wouldn't we start it now? And then it's going to go until next Sunday the 22nd. So I think normally most people celebrate Summerween around that weekend, like the 20th. I think it's the second to last Friday of June is when normally most people would do Summerween, but we thought it would be fun to do it on Friday the 13th. So we're doing ours a bit differently, and we've planned out a lot of fun things, so I'll include as many of those as I can in this video for you. I am going to make it a big priority to read as much as I can, so I have quite the ambitious TBR, but it is summer, so I'm feeling good about it. Like, I'm feeling like it's manageable, especially since I have more time to like do my hobbies, listen to audiobooks, read physical books, and the weather has been pretty nice. It's supposed to rain a bit, so hopefully it holds off just like for a day or two maybe, but the cicadas have been so bad where I live, so it's made it really difficult to like lay in my hammock, go outside, want to do anything but like stay in my room, so hopefully they can chill. So majority of the books on this TBR are actually graphic novels, just because I get through those way quicker, and I feel like it's a cheat code to just read a lot of books without a lot of commitment. Like they're so easy, and a lot of them are just really fun and have cute art styles. So I have 3 graphic novels that are on this TBR, which I feel like I can get through in like a day. Maybe if I have a free day I can, or like a couple hours, I can just like do some reading sprints and see how many I can get through. But the first one is called Skull Cat and the Curious Castle by Norman Shirtliff, and this just looks really cute. Obviously if it's about a cat, I'm in. And it's like a spooky castle, and basically Scully the cat is just exploring the spooky castle, and I'm like, that just sounds like a fun time. And I don't think it's a series, I think it's just a standalone cute little graphic novel, but like that's okay with me. I'm here for a fun time. And then the next one is one I just randomly stumbled upon. Honestly, all of these I kind of randomly stumbled upon on Libby, but it's called Unfamiliar by Haley Newsome, and it's about a young kitchen witch named Planchette, and she gets to go to like a magical town and go on a little journey. How cute is that? And so all of these are on the Libby app, but I think I did request a physical copy of Unfamiliar from my library, just in case I wanted to read one of them physically. And the last one is Scary Godmother Compendium by Jill Thompson, and I remember seeing these, like the Scary Godmother, I guess comics you could call them, when I was younger, but like I never, like I have vague memories of them, but this has like all of them together, and it just looks so cute. Like if you can't tell by the cover, this just screams Halloween, you know? So those are all the graphic novels on my TBR. So that's 3, but I feel like, again, I can just read those in like an hour or two. Like they're really low commitment and super quick and fun, so I'm not really worried about getting through those at all. I did decide to pick up an audiobook just in case, you know, if I'm crocheting or if I'm journaling or something and I want to still be reading, then I'll just listen to this. But I haven't really been in an audiobook mood recently. I don't really know why, but I'm gonna try my best to listen to this one just because the premise does sound interesting. But it's called Harrow Lake by Kat Ellis. It follows this girl named Lola, who's the daughter of a celebrated horror filmmaker, but her father is attacked and she's packed off to move with her grandmother in this spooky little town called Harrow Lake, where her father's most iconic horror movie was shot. And that just sounds really cool. That's all I really want to know going into this, but I feel like I'll have a better time listening to this than I will physically reading. I tend to enjoy like spooky books more if I listen to them, so I'm hoping it's the case for Harrow Lake too. But I love horror movies so much, so I feel like this is just right up my alley, and I'm hoping it doesn't let me down. But I do have some physical books I want to talk about too, so I will start off with the one that like I'm probably not going to talk about too much just because I've already been reading this for a bit, so it's not necessarily like on my Summerween TBR, but it is kind of eerie, kind of spooky. Not really, but it's kind of like got those gothic vibes going on. But that is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I started this when I went to Germany last week, and I was there for like a week and a half, and it was amazing. But I started this on that trip, and I've just been reading it, you know, kind of slowly, but I want to take my time with this. I want to be fully immersed in the story, and so far I'm absolutely loving it. It's definitely very eerie sometimes, lots of mystery, lots of mist, and just like kind of gothic spooky vibes, and I'm really enjoying it. I really like it. I'm about like close to 200 pages in, but yeah, I've just been taking my time with this, so I don't necessarily think I'll update you on this. If I finish it, I'll let you know, but I'm not going to be giving you like back-to-back updates on my progress with this. This is kind of like a personal little background book right now, but it does still fit the Summerween vibes. And then my top priority book that I specifically bought for Summerween is The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. This is basically like Stranger Things. It follows a couple little kids in the 1980s Niagara Falls. The main character, Jake, spends most of his time with his uncle Calvin, who's an enthusiast of occult artifacts and conspiracy theories. So Jake is 12 years old, and he makes friends with some new kids in the town, and they just go hunt ghosts and like do paranormal stuff, and it just seems so cute. So it's not like a horror book, it's not exactly super spooky, but it gives those Stranger Things vibes, like the summer slasher vibes that I'm going for, and it's quite short, so I feel like I can get through this pretty quickly this week. And yeah, I really hope I love this. I think it'll be super good. So as for my plans today, I'm going over to my boyfriend's house later, and we're gonna have a spooky movie night. We're gonna watch Friday the 13th, of course, and his mom has like got some themed things going on for us, so I'm really looking forward to that, and of course I'll share that with you if I can. But I think for now I'm going to go thrifting for a bit. There's just a couple like random things I want to see if I can find, and it's a nice day, so let's go do that. Sunday night, and I've had a busy little weekend filled with some fun Summerween activities. I had a drive-in movie night where we watched Friday the 13th Part 2. It was very, very fun. We had a lot of fun snacks and like popcorn and everything. It was just so cute, and I definitely want to do something like that again. And then last night I made some pumpkin cookies. Unfortunately I didn't film anything, but they were very, very good. But I have a lot of extra pumpkin, so I'm planning to bake something else pumpkin-y like tomorrow or sometime later this week. I'm thinking maybe like muffins or something. I'll have to figure it out, but I'll definitely show you what I make next time. And then my boyfriend also played around with making some cocktails, so we had some spooky themed cocktails, and they didn't really, you know, turn out like the pictures. Like, I feel like it was one of those expectation versus reality things, but they did taste very, very good. I had like a strawberry type of cocktail. I don't really know what it was, but it was delicious. And then we started watching Fear Street. I forget which one. I think we started with the second one, but we haven't watched the first one, so we're going out of order, but it's okay. We didn't finish it, but I did like it so far. It was a summer camp setting, so we thought that was fitting to go with kind of the Friday the 13th vibes we've got going on. And then today we did go to a witchy coffee shop in my city. It's so cute, and I had a peach cold brew. It was called Peaches and Scream. It wasn't my favorite thing ever. I feel like I would have liked something else on the menu. But I'm glad I tried it. It was fun. I'm not really sure what we'll be doing like during the weekdays in between our work schedules and things like that, but I'm definitely going to plan to make it as spooky as possible. And I have been reading quite a bit. So as for my reading update, I started reading The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson, and I'm only a couple pages into it. I'm like 20 pages in. So I don't have like a full opinion on this yet. I feel like I'm still kind of getting my bearings with the story, and I've like barely made a dent into it, but I love the writing style so far. It's really, really well done and like mature, and I feel like we're getting a good like retrospective glimpse at the main character Jake's childhood, and like so some parts of it he's telling it from the present day where he's an adult and he's looking back on some things, but other times the memories are just so detailed and just such descriptive writing. It just scratches my brain really well. Let me read you a couple lines. So this is when the main character Jake was talking about how he's a neurosurgeon and how after like a brutal procedure or something he would return to his hometown, to his like childhood home, because it gave him so much comfort. So this line says, "I'd lie with the moonlight angling through the backyard maple to cast a fretwork of shadows on the wall and remember the ghost of my old fears, although I no longer saw the shadows as the skeletal hands of a beast come to claim my soul." Like just something about that, and like how it's the maple tree specifically, and like the shadows and everything like that. It's just so good, and I'm just really enjoying it so far. So I'm excited to get into like the actual like setting of the 1980s and like all the fun adventures they go on. But I feel like this is taking a different turn than I thought it would be. I thought it was just gonna be like a fun kind of like Stranger Things vibe, and I'm okay with not getting that. Like I like where it's going so far, but I'm hoping we get more like fun spooky times. That's what I'm here for. But I also don't mind like kind of the more serious direction it's going. I just hope it kind of balances out with both vibes. And then I also started listening to Harrow Lake by Kat Ellis, which is my audiobook, and this is a young adult thriller, horror, one of those things. And it follows main character Lola Knox, who's the daughter of a famous horror movie director, and she basically is sent to the town, which is the setting of one of her father's movies, his most famous movie. And it's also where her mother is from, who kind of ran out on them. So she's learning a lot about her family history, even though she doesn't really want to. Like she's kind of just thrust into the situation. And the setting's really cool. It's like a 1920s town, and the descriptions are really nice. I really like the audiobook so far. I'm really impressed with the narrator, and so far we're just kind of getting some spooky vibes. There was someone outside her window one night, which was really creepy to listen to. It was very well written, and there's just been some odd things going on. There's a legend about this entity or this guy named Mr. Jitters who like would take people into the mines. I think that might be wrong. I'm not really too sure, but he's creepy. Like he is very like Slender Man-esque, and I'm very not looking forward to learning more about him, but at the same time I'm very curious. So excited to continue that. I think I'm about like 30% through listening to that, and I've just been listening to it while driving, but I do want to start crocheting soon. That's probably what I'll do here soon this week. So I'm planning to listen to more of it then. As for some other exciting plans, we are going camping on Friday. I'm so excited. We are gonna make s'mores and have some food. I'm not really sure of like the specific plans yet, but I'm just very excited to camp. I feel like this is perfectly fitting with the Summerween kind of slasher summer camp vibes we've got going on. Like we started off watching Friday the 13th and we're gonna end the week camping, so hopefully we don't get killed. That would not be good. But I'm so excited. I'm definitely gonna update you then. Just found the most beautiful book ever. That looks so cute. Do I need it though? I don't. It's $10. Guys, I also found a hardcover copy of Strange the Dreamer. And yes, I have the paperbacks. Do I get it? Hey everyone, it's currently Wednesday. Can't remember when I last updated you. I think it was yesterday, but I haven't started editing this video yet, so I have no clue what I've told you and what I haven't. But I went and did some book shopping, as you saw earlier today, which I definitely shouldn't have. Like, I don't need to be buying books. I am most definitely on a book buying ban, but we just needed to fill the void a bit. But I had a specific list of things I was looking for. Unfortunately, I only found 1 or 2 things off that list. That was kind of disappointing. I thought I would find a lot more at half price. I feel like they normally have a lot of variety, but like I guess I was just looking for too specific of things, but that's okay. So the one book that I actually like went for was Animal Farm by George Orwell, and I've actually never read this before, but I have really had an interest in reading it recently. I've never really cared to read classics, mainly just because they remind me of school, and I don't want to think about school. I don't want to think about like school books or something like that, but I'm trying to separate classics from school books, because just because they're taught in school doesn't mean they're bad books. Like, most of them are great and they're classics for a reason, but I just always struggle with them. But I don't want to be that person who like refuses to read the classics anymore. I don't want to do that. I'm actually interested in them, and I feel like they have interesting things to say, and like I said, they're popular for a reason, so I want to know why. So I wanted my own copy of this that I could like fully annotate and just like really experience myself and not be influenced by. So I picked up a copy, and this one was good condition and only $5, so I can't be too mad at that. And then the next book I got, the sticker's still on it so you can't even see the title, but it's The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis, and I've been collecting the like tiny little mass market paperbacks, and they have like illustrations inside. So I've been collecting the full series of this, and this was the last one I needed, and I just like have not found this edition that matches the rest of them literally in so long, but I stumbled upon it. Normally they're on clearance, so I was really hoping I would find this one on clearance too. Unfortunately not, but still, it was only $4, so I'm like, you're coming home with me. But yeah, I'm just happy to finally have this and complete my collection, and now I feel like I can fully like get through the series. Like, I don't know why, like I listened to the first 2 books on audiobook, so I didn't even read the physical copy, but I just like to have the full set, so now I do. And then this last one was not necessary, but I just like could not pass it up when I saw it, because if you don't know, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor is like my favorite book ever, my favorite series ever. So I have the paperback copies that are like the American US edition, and then I have an Owl Crate special edition copies, but I don't have like any other copies, so I'm not like trying to go crazy with my collecting, but it is my favorite book, so I want to collect copies of the book I love, and it's always just so pretty to see what editions they have. So I found a perfect American hardcover edition of Strange the Dreamer, like literally perfect condition, nothing wrong with it. It was only $10, and I feel like this will be the copy I will like loan out to people if they want to read this, and I can like let them borrow it, because my paperback copy, I've annotated the crap out of it, so I don't want people really like seeing my personal thoughts, because that was my first experience with that book, and I feel like that's just like a part of me. So unless it's someone I really trust, I won't really let them read that copy, so I feel like this will be the one that I will loan out to people. And I definitely wouldn't let them read like the special edition, you know. I paid a lot more for that than this one. So I don't know, I kind of just pounced on it because I knew I would regret it if I didn't get it. And they had some copies of Daughter in Smoke and Bone there too, but I think I want to get the UK paperback editions because I really like the covers a lot more. I feel like they're just cooler. Like, I don't mind the neon on the American ones, but I feel like they're kind of plain. So I might splurge on the UK editions one day. I don't know when. Not anytime soon. But yeah, I kind of couldn't resist it. I really want to find a UK hardcover edition, but they are most definitely like rare, out of print, and overpriced. So happy to find a like cheaper US hardcover. As for my plans for the rest of today, I feel like I've kind of been fading from the spooky theme that I'm supposed to have going on this week. Maybe because it's like 80 degrees here and it's just so freaking hot that it's so summer here, and like I dress like it's summer, you know? So I feel like I need to get back into the spooky vibes. So I don't know what I'll do for sure, but I kind of been in the mood to crochet. I haven't crocheted at all this week, and it's kind of gloomy outside, so maybe I'll turn something spooky on, like a Gravity Falls episode or something, or listen to more of my audiobook, and I'll crochet a bit. I'm thinking I might do that, but who knows, I might just end up reading for the rest of the night. I don't know. Sorry, I look like I just rolled out of bed. That's because I kind of did. I slept in a bit today, but I actually started the morning by finishing the Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. I've just been so immersed in this the past couple days, just absolutely enthralled with it. And I was surprised because at first I just couldn't really connect, like it kind of was different than I expected it to be. But I ended up loving this. This was a 4.5-star book for me. Like, I was just pleasantly surprised. Like, as I kept reading, I just, oh my gosh, there were just so many good things about this book. I loved the paranormal, like, kind of spooky aspects. They definitely weren't at the forefront. They were definitely just the activities the characters were doing. Like, it wasn't a big part of the plot. That was just, like, what they did. But at its core, this is definitely just a coming of age story. It's definitely about childhood and coming to understand like kind of the harsh realities and harsh truths about life and about the world. And it was just very like impactful and emotional, and I have so many lines I underlined in this book that just really spoke to me or that I just really enjoyed. And I definitely see myself rereading this. Like, this is definitely something I will go back to and I'm gonna think about a lot. It's so much more than just like a fun spooky time, which is what I expected it to be, but I got way more than that, and I'm not mad about that at all. I really love this book. And I'm also just glad I read it so quickly. You know, it is very short. It's like just a tad over 200 pages, but it flew by. Just read it in a couple days. And yeah, I just wish there was more of it. That's really the only bad thing I have to say, is that I just want this to be longer. I want to explore more of the characters and just their like kind of workings and how they interact with the world and as they grow up. It was just so interesting to me, and I just wanted more of it. So I don't know if this author has like other stories like this. If he does, I'll have to look into it. But if he does, definitely gonna read them, definitely gonna check them out. But I love this book. I really love this book. But that was like my main priority for the Summerween TBR, and I'm done with it. So I'm very proud of myself. And then I have been going absolutely crazy with graphic novel reading. I think I've read maybe 8 graphic novels this month. Most of them are for Summerween, just because I've been finding a lot of good kind of like witchy, spooky, quick graphic novels to read, but I've been going crazy with them. It's kind of bad. Like, it's not bad because like I'm reading a lot of them and they're heading towards my Goodreads goal, but I think my total will end up being 10 plus books for the month of June. I'm not complaining. That's awesome. But they're just all graphic novels, so I don't know. Yesterday I read Unfamiliar by Haley Newsome. I got this from the library and I loved this. This was so reminiscent to me of like Adventure Time and kind of like a Cartoon Network show like Steven Universe or something like that. It was just very silly. The characters were so unserious, but I loved kind of the cute atmosphere and just like how the friendships between the characters builded. So our main character is named Planchette and she's a kitchen witch, and she makes friends with this other witch called Pinion who doesn't really have magical powers, and Planchette is moving to this new town and her house is haunted by ghosts. So she is trying to find help to try and exorcise the ghosts and get rid of them so she can like sleep at night. And so she's meeting all these people, and then she also meets the worker of the grocery store named Sun, and then there's this other character named Babs, and it's just really fun how their friendship kind of develops. And there's a side plot with Sun and Babs together that I really liked that's building. And also the art style in this was just so pretty. I loved the colors and everything, and I'm really glad I got a physical copy because I felt like it was nice to like really see everything. But I really love this, and I definitely see myself like rereading this in like fall, like actual spooky season. Like, it's not really scary necessarily, but I just kind of love the witchiness of it, and it's just a lot of fun. And each character has a familiar for like an animal, and it was just so cute. And then I also on a whim picked up this one called Witch for Hire by Ted Nafa, I think. I literally just saw this as I was checking out at the library and got it too. This was definitely not my favorite. I thought it would be a lot more kind of like silly spooky, but there's a big theme of cyberbullying in this because it follows our main character who is named Faye Faulkner, and she is a witch. and she goes to this high school, and she always sits like the losers table. That's a big thing in this, where she's kind of like banding together this group of unpopular kids. And so there's this other prominent character named Cody who has a popular sister, and she just kind of gets bullied a lot. But there's this internet phenomenon or person or something like that named Shy Shelby, who is kind of like scamming people and selling courses on like how to be your best self and stuff like that. And it's kind of like one of those things where it's like in an internet challenge, but it's actually just a big like bullying phenomenon. I don't know how to explain it very well, but it was definitely interesting, and I liked kind of the commentary on this mixed with the witchy elements. I just didn't really care too much about the characters. The art style was cool, it just wasn't my favorite either. I definitely prefer kind of like a cutesy one like this. But I guess if it was a more serious story, I don't really mind that the art style was kind of more realistic. But yeah, this was just okay. I think I gave this 2.5 stars. Like, it wasn't really bad, it's just wasn't really my favorite, but you know, I can't complain. I read it really quickly and I was engaged with it. I just wasn't really too into it, you know. And then I also read a graphic novel that I'd been wanting to read for a while, and I kind of forgot it existed until yesterday, but it's called Over My Dead Body by Sweeney Boo, and I read that on my iPad. It was so good. This art style is 100% my favorite kind of art style. It reminds me of just like fan art, like fantasy book fan art that you would see all the time. And I just really, really loved it. It takes place at this kind of Hogwarts-esque magical school called, I think it's called Unwitty like academy or something like that, and everyone there is a witch, and it's just so Harry Potter coded and that's probably why I loved it so much, because I love Harry Potter and I think about it every day. But we follow the main character named Abby, and so basically every like foundling child who's kind of like an orphan, they take the last name of Unwitty. So her name is Abby Unwitty, and her mentee, she's a mentor, and so her mentee named Noreen goes missing. She enacts the help of her friends named Goldie and Enver, and the unlikely friendship of her roommate named Violet, as they hunt down Noreen and try and find out what's happening to her. And there's a lot of like interesting things that happen on the way. I just really, really love the art style in this the most. The story was good, of course, but what made it for me was the art style. There was just so many good colors, and like the characters were just drawn in a way that just like scratches that itch for me. Sorry, my camera keeps going crazy today. So I absolutely loved Over My Dead Body, and there's a second volume coming out I think later this year, and I'm so excited for it to come out. I will definitely be reading it when it does. I don't know what it could be about though, because the story kind of wrapped itself up at the end of volume 1, but I'm not complaining. If we get more of that school and that world and the art style, I will not be complaining. But yeah, I think I gave that one 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed that one. And then also I noticed yesterday I gave you guys that book haul from Half Price Books, and I said I finally found the last edition of the Narnia books that I needed, the Silver Chair, which is volume 6. Well, I went to put it on my shelf and it does not match. I thought it did because the cover is the one that matches with these editions, but the spine, this is not the right spine. And I hate to like be a stickler like that. I hate to be picky. Normally I wouldn't care, but it really will bug me. Let me show you. It really will bug me if all the spines look like that and have like, you know, the same kind of style, and then you throw up this one next to it. I don't know what it is, I just can't do it. So I found some of the matching copies on Pingo Books, and I don't know if I'll get them like right now because I just bought this one and I don't even need it. And I guess I could go return it to Half Price Books, but I feel like that's kind of weird. Like, I don't know, it's a used book, I should just donate it or something, but I did spend money on it, so I don't really know. So as for my reading plans for the rest of this week, I do work tomorrow and Saturday, and I think I'm at work Sunday, I don't really know. But I think I'm going to read a bit more of One Dark Window, and I know I said I wasn't going to talk about this as much, but I've been kind of itching to get back into this story, and I finished my main priority, which was Saturday Night Ghost Club, so I do need a physical book to continue with, so I think I'll make more progress with this today, hopefully. And I am still in the middle of my audiobook called Harrow Lake by Kat Ellis. I think last time I told you I was on 30% through. Haven't really listened to it since then, so I'd like to if I can. I kind of want to do some journaling today and maybe go on a walk, and I still have not crocheted at all. I don't know, I just haven't been feeling the pull towards it, but I don't really know. We'll have to see, but I definitely plan to listen to more of that since I do want to finish it soon. Hello everyone, I'm currently dog/house sitting, which is why my setup looks a little bit different. But I wanted to update you because I just finished listening to Harrow Lake by Kat Ellis, which is the last book I needed to read for my Summerween TBR. And I will say I'm kind of underwhelmed by that book. It was kind of disappointing. I had expected it to be more paranormal, more like horror or like spooky, but it was more just like an unreliable narrator with like small mystery town vibes because the town is like a 1920s inspired town. I was so intrigued by this book because it follows Lola, who's the daughter of a famous horror movie director, and that just sounded really cool to me, but it wasn't really what I thought it would be. Like, I can see how some people would like it, but what intrigued me about it as well is the monster that haunts this town. Like, it's a, you know, famous legend of Mr. Jitters, and like he takes people into the caves and like into the sinkhole caves, and it just sounded super creepy. And at first I was really spooked by it, but we just didn't get those vibes very often, and it was just kind of slow pace, slower moving, which is not a bad thing. I just kind of expected more momentum. And so the things that were set up just didn't really land for me. Like when we got the reveals at the end that I just listened to, I was like, yeah, I saw that coming. I knew it wasn't gonna be a paranormal thing. I knew it wasn't gonna be what I thought it was, because about halfway through, I knew what the reveal was gonna be. And truly, that doesn't like mean it's a bad book. I just was disappointed by it. I thought it would be something way darker. And like, it was kind of dark, but nothing was explicitly said. Like, everything was left very vaguely, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like the reveal that we got, I'm trying to avoid spoilers here, so my apologies if my language is vague. But I feel like all the like plot twists that we got, all the big reveals that we got at the end of this book, everything was still, like, nothing was explicitly said, like, oh, he did it, oh, she did it, or something like that. Like, I don't know, or like the history of this was just kept so vague, and I just wanted, like, I guess I just wanted the answers to be very spelled out for me. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just was kind of bored by it. So I gave it 2 stars. I don't know. It was just fine. It was just meh. I'm probably not gonna think about it ever again. So I mean, I recommend it if you want like a YA type of mystery book, but to be honest, I do think there are better YA mysteries out there. Like, read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's an amazing series. This one, it's just fine. It's just and I guess that just means that I am not really meant for YA thrillers or horror books anymore. I think I just have reached a point in my life where I need something really dark, and that means a more like adult thriller book or something, and that's fine. That's just my taste now, I guess. But I'm glad I read this to figure that out. But that is the last book I had on this Summerween TBR. It's honestly been a crazy week for me of reading. I have had a lot of fun doing my Summerween activities, and I definitely didn't do all of the ones I had hoped. I didn't crochet at all this week, and I know I said I would, but I just haven't touched it. And I didn't do a lot of like the other spooky things that I was hoping to do. Like I didn't really watch many other movies, but that's okay because I will save that for actual spooky season in September and October when we really get into the fall weather. But in total, for this readathon, for this weekly readathon for Summerween, I read a total of 7 books. And yes, majority of them were graphic novels. So I only technically read 2 like full-length novels. One was audiobook, one was a physical book, and the rest were graphic novels. But I don't care. I still read them and they were still very fun and a pleasant experience. And I definitely want to do something like this again. I think it was a lot of fun. So I guess I'll just have to find more spooky graphic novels or something like that. But I think for in October, I might try and read some like actual scary books and like try to spook myself, because I was kind of going for the summer vibes here where it was still gonna be like fun and, you know, not super creepy. And I think I got what I wanted for that. So maybe in the fall I'll do a little bit more hardcore of a readathon. But yeah, I'm so proud of myself for reading 7 books. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and following along with my activities. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and I will see you in my next video.